Hey, everybody, welcome in. We are officially into week 6 now, week 5 in the books. Really getting close to that halfway point already as week 6 concludes. I'll actually be doing a mid year awards video midway through the year, conclusion of week 7, I believe. So conclusion of week 7, I'll do a mid year review. But obviously, already into week 6, guys, crazy. It's like halfway. So we'll jump right into the week 5 recap. Me against Aaron looked pretty close, and then Sunday night, Deshaun and Hopkins decided to just go absolutely insane. So I pulled out a 116-66 victory, largest margin for the week. So a little $5 award for me. Real quick recap too: the $5 weekly winners so far is Jeff, Joe, Jeff again, Jobby week 4, and then me week 5. So just want to touch on that real quick. My leading score was none other than Deshaun Watson, 35.5. He's a nice little surprise. Leave me with a couple dilemmas with Breeze to fill in. So see how that shapes out. Aaron was led by AJ Green with 22.9. I know Aaron's got a tough week ahead of him, a lot of buys, but we'll see what shakes out. Aaron though struggling, man, 1-4, previous champ. Just can't get on the winning ways. So we'll see if he can shake it this week, but not looking good for him. I know he's definitely making some moves, guys. So I got to applaud Aaron on that. Is that he's hasn't given up. He's still trying to either accumulate keepers or make some moves. So I gotta hand it to him there. Other matchup was super close. Came down to Monday night. Couldn't believe this one. This was actually really good because I was with Mike. But Mike, heartbreaker, loses 94 to 92.3. Jordan Howard, there was actually a holding penalty that cost Mike probably the game because it was a touchdown called back, and then Jordan Howard could never really get back on track thereafter. So Dalton, surprising 3-2, looking real nice. Dalton's making some moves, guys, and whether or not he's critiqued, he's making moves, and he's 3-2. He's above 500, I think, sitting second in the division. So he's got a big matchup this week, but kudos to Dalton. So Mike's sitting at 1-4, man. Got to do something, shake it up a little bit. We'll see what happens. But Mike was led by Antonio Brown with 15.7. Dalton shook it up and paid off big time. He got 30.4 from Fournette, who's continues to impress. I mean, he's one of the top running backs in fantasy right now. So we'll see if he continues to grind it out. Then you had the brother-in-law battle with Jeff and Nico, obviously scoring up against Brock. They pulled out the 107 to 87 victory over Brock. Brock was led by Aaron Rodgers. The Sunday afternoon game just tore apart Dallas. He had 24. Melvin Gordon continues to get in the end zone and tear it apart for the Chargers as well. So he had 28. But Jeff and Nico continue to dominate. They're 5-0. Brock falls 2 games in a row. He's at 3-2. Still in a good spot in that division, definitely, but some good viable teams in that division. So it's going to continue to be a dogfight, especially this next stretch of games where it's going to be most of the time everybody's going to have 1 to 2 players on bye. So I think trades are really going to start amping up too as we move on with bye weeks and everything like that. But on to the next one, another division matchup. Kind of a trash bag matchup again, where Eric pulled out a victory over Joe and Jared, 62.3 to 51. I mean, that is brutal. Not barely breaking 50. They had Ezekiel Elliott get 13.2. Eric was led by the Dolphins D. Last minute pickup really won it for him with 22. Eric now surprising 3-2, tied in that division with Brock. Joe and Jared, that's a brutal loss, but I think they got enough talent on that roster. They're 2-3, right in the thick of it. So we'll see how they shake up for week 6. And then Jobby continues to stay hot. He pulled out the 113-85 victory over Casey. Casey drops to 1-4. Jobby improves to 2-3. Once again, that division wide open. Casey led by Dak Prescott, 29.7. He continues to be a beast mode. Like this year, everybody kind of thought he would fall off, but I mean, he continues to be pretty much a top 5, top 6 play every week. So puts up numbers, runs well, and in a good offense. So I could see that, obviously being a good keeper for Casey, but, potential trade chip down the road. And then obviously Jobby led by Cam Newton again, his second best week, 26.2. So jumping into week 6, guys, a couple big matchups on the slate. First of all, you got me against Mike. I'm projected to win by about 10, 4-1 against 1-4. I like to think Mike's going to turn it around at some point, maybe makes a move, maybe his players start to pick it up. But right now his team's in a tough spot, and I'm hoping to obviously improve to 5-1. You got Aaron against Joe and Jared. Joe is projected to beat Aaron by 23. Obviously, I think Aaron's got a couple holes in his roster. Needs to fill in with a bye week. But this week, I think is big for Aaron. It's really tough for him because he's got so many good players on the bye. He's got McCoy, he's got Dez, he's got AJ. So there's, I mean, 3 huge pieces for him, 3 stud starters that aren't going to be in this week. So, you know, in all honesty, I think Joe and Jared probably trot to victory, but you never know. Crazier things happen. Another big matchup, I think, for Eric is important. Even though he's only playing Casey, who's 1-4, I think it's a big week for Eric, considering he is projected to win by about 6. I still think Eric's got a lot to prove. He's got some players on his roster that obviously he turned over, which was a great trade for him when he got rid of Jay Ajayi, and obviously now Odell Beckham, who is a big loss for Jeff and Nico. But I think Eric still needs to prove that his team is going to score points. They belong. So I think this would be a good matchup to watch. I think Jeff and Nico square up against Javi. They're projected to win by about 4. I think Javi's definitely turned it around and trust in the process, not making any moves really, but his players I think started out slow. You got your Keenan Allens, Cam Newton. He had a couple like Lamar Miller, for example, started out slow and then had a huge week the last couple weeks. So Javi's really trusting his process and his guys that he drafted. T.Y. Hilton, another one. But, I got to wonder, too, if all these guys are busting out and then I'm going to kind of flare out. But we'll see. I mean, I think he drafted well. We all looked at it and said, wow, that team's surprisingly good on paper. But big matchup for them. I mean, obviously, he wants to try to knock Jeff and Nico down for their first loss. So we'll see if that can happen. And then, last but not least, I think matchup of the week, very important for both teams. 2 3-2 teams, both second in their divisions, is Dalton versus Brock. 2 co-owners who were champions at one point, squaring off. I think they got a little side bet too, so it'll be fun as this week goes on. I actually think Dalton is projected to win by about 7. Now Brock might have a fill-in or 2, but ultimately, like I said, guys, I think Dalton, even though we gave him a lot of shit for the trades he made, I think ultimately he's got a solid team in place. Now, obviously, the receiving corps could use a little work as I'm looking at it. He's got Deshaun Jackson, Thielen, and Rashard Matthews, but, when you really think about it, his team is not bad, and he's made a couple good waiver wire pickups, obviously a couple good trades, and I know he's not done dealing. Obviously, Brock, great trade to get Kareem Hunt. Brock's receivers, very solid all the way through. But I think, in terms of who did I even pick for this matchup? I actually did pick Dalton. So we will see. I would love for Brock to win, though. Division game just puts a little more distance between me and the second place team. So go Brock, obviously. But, I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to key on Kareem Hunt. That offense looks really, really good for Kansas City. So, and I got to think, Demaryius Thomas is due to break out. So, in all honesty, I could see either team winning this. That's why I think it's matchup of the week. It's so close. Obviously, would prefer Dalton. So, other than that, guys, that's all I really got. Everything's been pretty good. No complaints, no issues, nothing like that. I've been putting up polls. I noticed once we hit about 9 or 10 votes, obviously, I switch up the poll. So I just want to keep it revolving. I'm always throwing out ideas. So just because I put out something like, hey, what would you guys think about PPR or doing one division? Like, I just want to get your guys' input. Not that these changes are going to take place, but I want to see what everybody's thoughts are. So if there's going to be a time where, if we implement a rule, let's say PPR, I'm not going to do it until a couple years ahead of time. So like prime example, we have the redraft coming up in 2020, which could lead to a lot of different changes potentially if people are open to it, if they like them. But that would be the year we do any changes. Nothing's going to change next year or even 2019. It's going to be 2020 when it's almost like the league is resetting. That would show, that would be the big difference. So obviously you guys are still doing 2-year keeper. Next year we're doing, you can keep 1 player, 2 players, or 3 players. Have to keep at least 1. So, but you can keep a max of 3, minimum of 1. But that's really the only change going into effect for next year. Obviously, other than the ones we've kind of already talked about. So just wanted to give you guys a quick video. Nice little Wednesday. Weather's starting to turn to fall. It's getting a little cold. It's getting a little, balmy outside. So was kind of a nice turn to fall. It's about time. So, other than that, guys, got a big couple weeks ahead of us. Jobby will be biting the bullet and getting married, so tune in for that. Might even try to get a little surprise video in at the wedding. Obviously, it is a Saturday, but maybe a little sneak peek from the groom himself. So, have a good week, guys. Good luck. Hang in there. Keep talking, making trades. The waiver wire's been hot, which also, real quick, I talked about that free agent potential bidding, which I'm going to put a poll up for that as well. That could take effect next year, but we'll see. We'll toy with it. Have a great week. Enjoy. Good luck. Don't hang your heads. Stay in there, make moves, and try to keep winning, guys. Nobody wants to tank, obviously, unless you get a guy like DJ, then it's worth it. But have a good week, guys, again, and enjoy. And I will see you next week.